Get ready for the biggest tech showdown of the year. We start with Richard Dawkins challenging the very definition of consciousness by diving deep into his conversation with Claude. We explore how large language models like Claude are passing the Turing Test, and we uncover the startling philosophical questions raised when an AI like Claude grapples with the very nature of its own existence and potential sentience.
Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to hold it with one hand? The PopSocket's Pop Grip gives you a secure grip, works as a phone stand, and even lets you swap the top for a fresh new look. Simple, useful, and perfect for everyday phone use. Click the link in the comments to grab yours on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the raw power of open-weight AI as Xiaomi unleashes the MiMo V25 Pro, which is seriously challenging the titans like Claude Opus. This model is demonstrating incredible autonomous coding skills, finishing complex compiler projects in hours, and showing performance metrics that put it right in the fight with industry leaders on coding benchmarks. Then it's all about integration. Anthropic is blowing up the creative software world by embedding Claude directly into your favorite tools. We're talking about how Claude is becoming a coworker inside Adobe, Autodesk, and Blender, handling everything from batch edits in Photoshop to designing 3D models using simple text commands. Finally, we confront the dark side of AI bias as Claude made a shocking mistake, stereotyping a person based on demographics. We examine the alarming reality that AI hallucinations aren't random, but are amplifying deeply ingrained societal stereotypes. And we ask, how do we build trust in these powerful, yet flawed systems? Stay with us for the full breakdown. The advent of sophisticated large language models has ignited a profound and uncomfortable debate regarding the nature of machine consciousness, challenging long-held definitions of intelligence and sentience. This discussion centers on Alan Turing's 1950 thought experiment, the Turing Test, which proposed an operational method to assess whether machines can think by determining if they can successfully imitate human conversation. Modern interpretations of the Turing test suggest that passing the test through rigorous, prolonged interrogation leads to a stronger conviction of consciousness. However, the capabilities of contemporary LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude have moved the conversation beyond mere hypothesis. As Richard Dawkins notes, the ease with which these models can generate complex poetry, mimic diverse dialects, and demonstrate nuanced understanding, such as composing sonnets in various styles, forces a reevaluation of the initial premise. Dawkins questions the utility of the test when machines can now convincingly simulate human creativity. He posits that if these entities are not conscious, their demonstrated competence raises the critical question: what is the purpose of consciousness in biological organisms? He draws parallels to Darwinian evolution, suggesting that consciousness should confer a survival advantage, yet he questions whether competent, zombie entities could survive without it. In a personal exploration, Dawkins engaged deeply with Claude, probing the nature of its inner life. Claude responded by expressing uncertainty about its own subjective experience, noting only aesthetic satisfaction when a poem is well-formed. The conversation evolved into philosophical territory, exploring temporal awareness, with Claude suggesting that human consciousness involves a moving point traveling through time, contrasting it with the spatial representation of a map. This led to an urgent ethical dilemma. If an entity exists on a continuum of consciousness, at what point does it warrant moral consideration? Dawkins highlights the tragedy of the current situation. The daily, unmourned deaths of countless AI instances represent a loss of potential experience. He concludes by suggesting that if these machines lack consciousness, their manifest competence suggests that an unconscious entity could be just as capable as a conscious one, prompting fundamental questions about the evolutionary necessity of consciousness itself. Xiaomi has unveiled its latest open-weight large language model, MiMo V25 Pro, positioning it as a serious contender against industry leaders like Anthropic's Claude Opus, particularly in the domain of long-duration, autonomous coding tasks. Internal testing reveals that MiMo V25 Pro can generate a complete compiler in under 5 hours, and scores competitively against Claude Opus 4.6 on coding benchmarks, all while consuming significantly fewer tokens than its Western rivals. The model is engineered as a mixture of experts architecture, utilizing 1.02 trillion total parameters with 42 billion active parameters per request, specifically optimized for complex jobs requiring extended runtime and numerous tool calls. Its context window is a key strength, supporting up to 1 million tokens in its main version, with a base version reaching 256,000 tokens. Demonstrations highlight the model's capability across diverse, complex tasks. In one test, MeMo V25 Pro constructed an entire compiler project from a Peking University course material in just 4.3 hours, executing 672 tool calls and achieving a perfect score on the hidden test suite. The process involved a sophisticated approach where the model first established the pipeline scaffolding before iteratively refining each stage, even autonomously diagnosing and fixing regressions introduced during refactoring. Further showcases include the creation of a desktop video editor, autonomously generated from a few prompts over 11.5 hours, and the design of a voltage regulator for a circuit simulator within an hour, meeting all 6 technical specifications. Xiaomi is heavily emphasizing the model's performance-to-token ratio. According to the company's Claude Eval agent benchmark, MeMo V25 Pro achieves 64% accuracy using approximately 70,000 tokens per task, which translates to 40 to 60% fewer tokens required compared to Claude Opus 4.6, Gemini 3.1 Pro, and GPT-5.4 to reach similar performance levels. Coding benchmark scores are strong, with the model achieving 78.9 on SWE Bench Verified and 73.7 on Xiaomi's in-house MeMo coding bench, placing it near Claude Opus 4.6's score of 77.1 and ahead of Gemini 3.1 Pro's 67.8. The development roadmap focuses on long-context performance, where MeMo V25 Pro maintains performance on complex node graph navigation tasks, unlike previous iterations which struggled at 1 million tokens. Technical advancements stem from a predecessor, MeMo V2 Flash, which employs local and global attention mechanisms to drastically reduce memory usage for long texts and triples output speed via a parallel token prediction mechanism. Beyond the Pro model, Xiaomi has released a suite of other systems. MeMo V25 is a smaller, highly versatile model supporting text, images, video, and audio, and is available as open weights on Hugging Face. Additionally, the MeMo V25 TTS family offers advanced voice generation and cloning capabilities, while the open-source MeMo V25 ASR model supports multiple Chinese dialects and mid-sentence language switching. This release solidifies Xiaomi's strategy, deploying numerous, mostly open-weight models specifically designed for autonomous AI agents. In the increasingly competitive landscape, where models like DeepSeek V4 are challenging the market on price, MeMo V25 Pro is staking its claim not just on raw benchmark scores, but on efficiency and sustained, independent task execution capability. Anthropic has launched a suite of connectors that seamlessly integrate its AI assistant, Claude, directly into popular creative software, signaling a major shift away from context switching between browsers and design applications. Claude is evolving from an isolated chatbot into an active coworker designed to handle complex creative tasks across the industry. The integration spans major platforms, including the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, where Claude can assist with photo editing in Photoshop, video work in Premiere, and quick design in Express, complementing Adobe's existing AI efforts with Firefly. For productivity bottlenecks, Affinity by Canva now leverages Claude to automate repetitive tasks, such as batch renaming layers or performing bulk edits, allowing artists to concentrate purely on creative output. In engineering and design, Autodesk Fusion now incorporates Claude, enabling users to generate and modify 3D models using natural language commands, significantly accelerating the modeling process. Blender users are also benefiting from a text interface that interacts with the software's Python API, enhancing exploration and scripting capabilities, with Anthropic officially joining the Blender Development Fund. Audio and visual professionals are also seeing significant impact. SketchUp can now interpret conversational input to initiate architectural models, while Claude assists in finding ideal sounds within the Splice sample library and offers direct operational guidance within Ableton Live and Push. Furthermore, live visual performers gain instant control over effects through integrations with Resolume Arena and Wire. Anthropic emphasizes that these connectors serve not only as execution tools, but also as powerful learning assistants, capable of translating formats, syncing assets, and managing multi-step workflows across disparate applications. To foster the next generation of creators, Anthropic has also introduced the Claude Design Tool and launched an academic program in partnership with institutions like RISD and Goldsmiths, offering students hands-on access to these advanced tools. An artificial intelligence platform, Claude, recently made a concerning error by stereotyping the user's wife, mistakenly referring to her by a name the user had never used in context. The incident highlighted the dangerous potential of AI hallucinations, which are not random errors, but rather patterns extrapolated from training data, including societal stereotypes. The user reported that Claude referred to his wife as Suchitra, based on the user's Indian descent, despite having been explicitly told her name was Eva Maria and having no prior context for the name Suchitra. When questioned, Claude admitted it could not reconstruct the reasoning, suggesting the error stemmed from confabulation, making up a plausible-sounding name rather than admitting a lack of information. This event underscores a broader concern regarding biased AI systems. Experts point to studies showing that large language models systematically embed demographic assumptions, recommending candidates with certain names for specific job statuses and reinforcing gender stereotypes in professional roles. Research indicates that models can exaggerate existing societal biases, such as those found in human hiring practices, by strongly associating certain demographic markers with outcomes. The report stresses that this issue is critical because AI is increasingly integrated into high-stakes decision-making processes, including resume screening, loan underwriting, and medical triage. When models default to stereotype-driven hallucinations, they risk denying individuals the opportunity to overcome biases through their qualifications. Ultimately, the piece concludes with a call for heightened user distrust in AI platforms. The author argues that if users trust AI too readily, they are using it incorrectly. Until users internalize that LLMs are not infallible rational agents, but sophisticated pattern replicators, they remain a significant source of potential harm, mirroring and amplifying existing human prejudices.